Hi, we are with Sujay Santra, who is the founder and CEO of iCure, which has got a great traction in social entrepreneurship initiatives in India. And here we are with him today to capture his story of a phenomenal journey of last 3 years and who could make a difference to lots of people, especially in rural India. And to start with, it happened in West Bengal. Sujay, welcome to ET Cases.
Thank you,
So,
my pleasure.
and can you take us through the initial journey? I think you were working in great companies like Oracle and all that. And if I'm right, you're a first generation entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So what actually motivated you to get into this uncharted waters, I would say?
To start with, definitely I have been entrepreneur by nature, you can call it,
Oh.
because like even my first job was at an NRSA as a junior scientist in Hyderabad, and after that I was working in a startup, and even in 2002 I had my own startup in Delhi.
Oh.
And so I ran it for one and a half years, and then I joined IBM and Oracle. During those times also, whatever things that I used to do was trying to believe on trying to change or modify the things in a better way, so that got me a couple of very good awards in IBM and Oracle also.
So you're entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Very good.
And then during those period, during the various occasions when I used to come to my hometown in the native place in West Bengal, people used to ask me, what do you do for a living? And when I used to say that, okay, I'm working in a software firm, multinational company that serves the US countries. So definitely I used to see that there is a disconnect between what I am doing, and maybe it's not directly or indirectly helping my own people. And during such incident, when I was in Bangalore working for Oracle, my father, he got sick, and then I got him checked up by the doctors in the hospital in Bangalore. And when he went back in Kharagpur, and he had some sleep disorders, so he went to a local doctor and the medications, and later we found out that he was having a wrong medicine for 6 months. So that led me to think that how technology would be able to create a connect with the doctors, with the patients. And being a technocrat, definitely that got me into the thinking that maybe there are technologies wherein it is mostly hospital centric, wherein it manages the hospitals,
Right.
but there are not many solutions which are patient centric, which thinks about the patients who get originated from the last mile and gets escalated or
Experience
yeah.
into a business venture. I'm sure a lot of people must have had this kind of experience, a very poignant experience. But then I would say very minuscule percentage would actually take the first leap of faith and say that I'm going to convert this into a business venture. So what actually motivated? Is it because you had started a company in 2002? So and therefore there is an inborn entrepreneurial talent in you.
Yes, I would say that that definitely helped me to set the things to whatever extent, like before actually forming the company. As I said that we did the conceptualize way back, wherein I had prepared the blueprint. I had been speaking to lots of doctors,
This
professors,
became the trigger.
technocrats. Yes,
Right. Okay.
and then the like initially what happens is that a person might be having an idea, but again, as you say, that taking the idea to the working stage definitely takes a lot of and gut determination and also fine tuning.
Fine-tuning.
Maybe some of the people who might be very passionate about their idea and they are not open to criticism, but in my case I have been definitely been open to criticism and trying to fine tune on the things which works on the ground. Like take the example of our technology solutions. So being working in Oracle, IBM, it was quite easy for us to design a solution which was successful in US and developed countries, but we thought on a bottom-up design. wherein we understood the challenges which are there on the ground,
Mhm.
what works, what not doesn't work. There is an acute shortage of the internet speed, the bandwidth, and the infrastructure. The people who are using the solution, they are new users, they are very new to computers.
Very simple.
So we had cut the flab out, and it had to be a very, very simple,
User-friendly.
easy to use, and user friendly. Not only that, we had seen that there was telemedicine, but again, telemedicine has a rigidness where the doctors need to be at the telemedicine facility, the patient needs to be at the telemedicine facility. There is a high capital investment, all those things are required. So we cut that out, and we have this something called as beyond telemedicine, or it's called remote monitoring, wherein the doctor at any place in his convenient time, he would be able to monitor the patient very conveniently. So this is how what we have seen earlier in the examples till now. What we have seen is that once the patient leaves the chamber of a doctor, the doctor loses all contacts with the patient.
Right.
So definitely we have been trying to establish that contact, so that the patients, when they are diagnosed with all the prehistorical records and in a proper way.
So I think one of the intriguing question for me, Sujoy, is that you could have pursued any other business venture. Why in technology space itself? Because you
Yes.
come from technology background. But why in this healthcare, and that too affordable healthcare? So that is the intriguing question. So why in healthcare, and that too affordable healthcare? Is it because of your background, or maybe you have visited whenever you visited your hometown, so you saw a lot of people, so that motivated you to get into this one?
Yes, exactly. Definitely, for two reasons. One is I could see that there is a lot of pain and suffering, especially in the healthcare. Even in my friends, relatives, what we have seen, that for any kind of issue they have to travel many miles to see the doctor, and so that was one of the intriguing things to see, that how we could be able to provide an affordable healthcare. And second thing, I also saw it as an business opportunity. I did not have any mind that maybe not an NGO, because NGOs again they have a limited objectives. So I definitely thought it has to be a for-profit, sustainable, and that particular enterprise has to go on and has to serve bigger interest of the things.
Right.
So that led me to think that how this particular business venture has to be sustainable and really has to serve the purpose.
Okay.
So in that aspect, so two things that played in my
So,
mind. Yeah.
very good. I think now let's look at two things. One is, now that you have conceptual, it's the idea of affordable healthcare.
Yeah.
Now, what came to your mind? Is it the technology, or is it the actual business? The in terms of operationalism business, is it the technology, or is it the operationalism business?
I would say what we started off with the technology, definitely, like being a
You're right.
technocrat.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then once we had the technology in place, we were working with various CSR organizations and various NGOs and other people, wherein we were trying to understand their models, and so during this process we had done several pilots in some of the remotest parts of West Bengal, completely jungle affected. Patients were walking for 15 kilometers. So I'll give you one example. Like, we went to a place wherein this particular it was part of the Jindal Steel plant, and these particular clinics were operational once in every 15 days. And this particular clinic was operational from 10 in the morning to 1 in the noon, and we saw that 3 patients hurriedly walking to that particular clinic, and the time was around 1:15. By that time the doctor had left. So the patients had already walked barefoot for 15 kilometers. So during that time they had two options. Either they could have walked another 20 kilometers to start in the herb clinic, or they had to wait for another 15 days to see the
And go
doctor.
all the way back.
Yes. So through some means we were able to reach out to the doctor, and now then we introduced the concept of these health workers who can be the the interface between the doctors and the patients.
You coordinate.
Coordinates, yes. So so we started with technology, and then we modified that. We tried with various business models to find out what works, what does not work on
Right.
things. We work with NGOs, we work with CSRs, we have worked with RMPs, which is like registered medical practitioners on the ground. And then we came up with our own rural health centers. So it's a one window approach, and which able to cater to all the primary healthcare needs within the community.
So one is, now that you have decided to conceptualize, I mean, take to this conceptualization next level, that is giving a technology, front ending or the technology interface. So what came the next one? Is it the business model, or in terms of especially the funding part of it? Because you definitely need to scale it up.
Yes.
At least the initial scale up is the most important thing, because the ideation to the first scaling up is,
Yes.
where you first scaling up, meaning you can see the operationalization of your baby, whatever you call it.
Right.
So what was the important thing there?
In terms of the first scaling up, what we did is that definitely when we were working on the technology, we were able to generate revenue through our technology sales,
Okay.
and that helped us to fine tune on the actual business model on the ground.
Okay.
So we were able to get funds to do the pilot, fine tune the pilot, make it working, and during that time we had approached for the angel investors who through several interactions with them, they were able to believe on our idea and our capability and commitment to the whole objective, and they form part of the family of iCure.
Right.
And that's how the journey began.
So so maybe a little digression to this one. For any angel investor, or let's say accelerator program, whatever you call it,
Yeah.
is it that they would believe just by your commitment, or do you think they would believe more in case if they see on the ground work for at least 1 or 2 years?
Yeah, definitely. If you look at it, like we raised the Webel seed funding in 2010, and we got the angel funding in early January 2013.
Okay.
So definitely it's that the investors, they need to see that your model is proven to some extent,
How committed you are?
how committed, how clear you are on your idea, on your focus and these things. So
How difficult was it, to get this? You got this idea up and running in 2010, and you got the first seed funding also from Webel, and then in 2013 is what you're saying, the angel funding. Between three years, what was it like? I mean,
it was definitely challenging. We like when we were doing the pilot, we really thought that maybe, and many times even we were kind of facing the wall. We were not coming out with like, is it there? Are we able to see the any road ahead and all that? So there had been several times when I was absolutely clueless what's next.
Right.
But I would say that if you have got the passion, commitment, and bit of ashirwad, the door will be open for you.
Absolutely. So the one is that, okay, when you definitely have all this, and you have the commitment, you have the real the blessings of, especially the people who got benefited by your services. I think those blessings would be the most important things. But having said that, how could you build this traction amongst, in other words, the traction amongst all your stakeholders? One is your the funding agencies, and the people who are likely to work with you,
Yeah.
and the patients, because they don't, because it's not that they're going to see you forever kind of thing,
Yes,
because it's just
yes.
the RSC kind of thing.
Yes,
So
yes.
how could you build a traction among these different stakeholders?
Yeah, so what we did is that we did, and during this whole process, I was very true to myself.
Right.
In other words, I was not trying to oversell anything or overcommit anything to anybody. I said that, okay, this is what the objective is, this is what, what we could feel that it is possible, but yes, I cannot commit that, okay, there is a, absolute green
Okay.
this thing at the end of the road.
Right.
But if you believe in my objective and the passion with which we
purpose.
are working, and definitely it would be able to go along. And till this date, I have always built in a team building exercise, not behaving like a boss or
Right.
trying to work with the people, work with the team. Even my health workers, they are free to call me, and I'm always accessible. And even 5 years down the line, when iCure grows much bigger,
Right.
I should be always be accessible to the people and team. And my feeling is that if I'm working hard and if I'm able to motivate myself, I should be able to motivate others to be part of this. Because ultimately, we are working for something wherein you need a lot of passion and motivation to really drive the things.
Right.
And there are several examples. I'll give you one more example. Like in one of the incident, my doctor and the paramedic assistant, they were going on a bike, and suddenly there was a snake on the bike. They didn't notice, and the snake was just hissing when they were driving the bike. So they just jumped off the bike and then hit the iron thorns. So the thorns, they pricked in the body. And what they did is that they just took bandage and they ensured that the clinic is open. I did not tell them to open the clinic, but you know, that drive, the passion, that yes, it is not for me, it is for them, for their community, and it's for a good cause. So that definitely is the mantra of, you know, that patients, they believe in touch and feel, especially Indians, they are more emotional in nature. You cannot show a doctor on the television and screen that okay, he is going to cure you, it doesn't work. So we took all those experiences and fitted into the system, and plus at the same time we understood that you need a long runway to take off for this kind of a venture. So for that we were you know, very cautious on our cash outflow, trying to be very uh, you know, judicious in whatever spending that we do. Even being a leader in the organization, I did not travel flamboyantly. I traveled in local bus, train, and whatever possible was there. There has been instances wherein one day I was attending a conference in a five-star hotel in Delhi, and the next day I was having food in the dhaba in the village. So people has to be flexible. We were able to control the costs in a very stringent manner. Although we had funds in place, but we were able to find alternate sources of revenue through our technology to keep the real venture, which is that of the healthcare systems, up and going. Definitely during those processes we have made some mistakes, and we were able to quickly correct those mistakes and take it along. So that's how we have been able to go
Coming
forward.
back to this again, this RSC, just can you explain to the audience how does, I mean, how do you decide to set up this RSC, and what happens in RSC? Because that's, like you rightly said, is one stream of your revenue model.
Yes.
And the other one, if I'm right, is going to be technology. So we'll
Yes.
come to that one. But
Right.
here also you have this technology, but then
Right.
not as a standalone,
Right.
So how does an RSC model work?
Yeah, so RHC basically stands for the Rural Health Center. Definitely, what happens is that we are trying to set up these RHCs where there is no facilities
So
available.
do you actually go on to a feasibility kind of study, or it is
Yes.
so
No, we have a long checklist to ensure that what are the criteria which really would be able to ensure that we are able to set up an RHC.
So
And
every setting up of an RH is preceded by a very
Yes.
elaborate analysis.
Yes,
Right.
there is a long checklist for us. Like it has to be within the population density, plus there has to be demand for that, and also the doctors and the paramedics, they would be able to reach to that place.
Right.
So keeping all these things in mind, we set up these RHCs, and so our whole idea is that in India 90% of the cases are of primary care in nature, and for these primary care people have to travel many miles to see the doctor.
Right.
So we should be able to provide a very affordable, clean, hygienic, sustainable environment for the doctors to check these things. And we are trying to provide the basket of services right from doctor consultation, medicine, basic tests like blood pressure, ECG, sugar test. Plus we also partner with various diagnostic center to do the blood test, routine blood tests, which we will be facilitating.
Right.
Unlike other services wherein we have seen that there might be a doctor, the patient goes to the doctor writes the medicines, the patient has to run for 3 kilometers to purchase medicines. So in our case it is a one window approach, wherein if the patient is going inside the clinic,
One-stop
he
shop.
one stop shop, he's
Right.
coming back, at least the primary care thing is sorted out.
Right.
And definitely it has caused a good impact in the community also. Many members who were out of any work for many months, they have been able to get cured, and now they have been started to earning for their family.
So in typical, again coming back to RSC operational model kind of thing. So typically each RSC will have a doctor,
Yeah.
and maybe a paramedical staff,
Yes.
and then maybe one or two supporting staff.
Yes, yes.
And their job is to see the patients every day as
Yes.
when these people walk in.
Right.
And they also give them the what to say the medicines, right?
Right.
So how does the revenue model? I mean, in terms of how much do you charge per
Yeah,
patient?
so we charge roughly around 90 rupees for the doctor consultation
Right.
and medicines.
Right.
As against the patient have to shell out like 300 to 400 rupees for the same set of services. Now, definitely coming to that, what we have seen is that the price point, we have kept it very affordable for a couple of things. Is that the price point of the wax is around say 30 to 40 rupees, and whereas the MBBS doctor with medicine is like 300 to 400. We have come up with a sweet spot like less than 100 rupees with medicines, because what we have also seen is that if the patients, let's say if we charge 300 rupees, there will be many diseases wherein the patients will not go or come to us till the point it is aggravated. So we want to get into the habit of going to the doctor, checking it up at an early stage. So that's why we have thought that okay, we would believe in volumes. We would want, like in our case right now, we just need 10 patients per day per center to break even, which is a very achievable number. But had we kept it at a price point of say 300 with medicines, definitely patient would have not have come at an early stage. They would have come at a which we did. We wanted to get that course correction in place for in the community,
Right.
and that's how.
So that's how each RSC works.
Yeah.
And then if I'm right, you also follow what's called as a hub and spoke model,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So what is the role of a hub, and how does how do these spokes get connected to the hub? Can you take us through that?
So hub and spoke model, in case the like our model, definitely we have been able to evaluate and fine tune, optimize, and go forward. So here hub actually means the hospitals, and the spokes are the rural health centers. So as we say that the rural health centers, they are able to cater to the primary care need of that, and not only that, we are able to record all the data of the patients within our technology. In case the patient needs any secondary or the tertiary care, they would be able to be referred to the hospitals. And when they are being referred to the hospitals, we are able to share this data with the specialist doctors at the hospitals.
Right.
So that the hospital doctor who is a specialist, they gets to see till date what kind of medicines and treatments the patient has gone. That will help the doctors definitely to give a better diagnosis and consultation to the patients.
So when you talk about this is hub actually acts as facilitating mechanism for all these RSCs. So you will be talking about maybe 5 or 6 RSCs being connected through one hub, if I'm right.
Basically, this hub, what we try to ensure is that in our area of operations, the hub should be at a distance of not more than 60 kilometers.
Okay.
So within that distance, so this is the time wherein in case of an emergency, the patient would be able to be quickly transferred to that hub.
Okay.
So that is the
Logic.
60 kilometers is a logical point wherein it would not take more than an hour to reach to that destination.
Right.
So that's how we have thought of this hub in place.
And each RSC will have its own doctor and like I said.
Yes, what we have in the business model, what we have ensured is that we have a medical team. This medical team comprises of the doctors, paramedic staffs, health workers, and the assistants. So they are able to move around on these clinics on a particular time and day. So that helps us in achieving the numbers.
Right.
And also, like let's say the patient is, the clinic of A is operational on Monday morning, say 10 to 12. Again, it would be operational Tuesday evening.
Exactly.
So that way we are also able to serve more number of areas with the doctors and the team, and we are able to ensure the sustainability.
And I think if I can ask you now, that's a fantastic model by any standards. And now, what kind of infrastructural challenges have you faced in setting up this? Because in rural areas, again, I mean, they pose their own challenges, and then especially given the political sensitivities of people, and especially somebody might say this party and this party kind of thing. But then I think largely you would like to be neutral than going to any of the party offices and things like that. So what kind of infrastructural challenges have you faced?
In terms of the infrastructural challenges, what we have ensured is that we don't invest on the actual physical setting up of the centers. Like we have partnered with NABARD, with the National Agricultural Bank, as well as Rotary International, and several NGOs, wherein we get the facility from them and we convert them as our clinics.
Right.
So we have minimalized on the capital investment to set up the clinics. So our model is very very asset light and it is highly scalable. In terms of the challenges, definitely a couple of challenges are on finding the right location to set up the clinics. Plus, we have ensured, as you said, that to neutral to all the caste, creed, community, or religion parties and all, because ultimately all are patients and we need to serve all of them. So we have been very very neutral in that
Great.
aspects. We are open and we should be able to help each and everybody that comes to us.
Great.
That's it.
So now it has been almost, if I'm right, since the time the idea was born in 2009, and then now it's almost about 5 years, right? So how do you look at the journey? I mean, when you look back, has it been
Journey
satisfying?
actually has been quite fulfilling, but again, in the initial 3.5 years, it has been a huge amount of challenge. There has been ups and downs, and we have been seeing so many positives, negatives, challenges, criticisms. But definitely, we have been fortunate to tide over all the
Course
crises,
corrections.
course corrections. And now, what we see is that at least to us and the team, we are very clear on our objective and role and mission, and we want to get ahead on that. Uh, there has been challenges from both social angle and from the families. Definitely, as in my case, I was working in a established organization at
Very
a good position. So,
Right, very true.
jumping into something which
Right.
is completely uncharted path.
Right,
Challenges has been there to convince your family
right.
to believe in what you believe in.
Right.
Definitely, it's not easy,
Absolutely.
and
And also making others believe in your
yes,
vision.
it's
Yeah.
not easy. So definitely, my family initially they had registered, but eventually they understood that okay, maybe I'm thinking on a bigger cause. So
Mhm.
definitely,
Mhm.
they have been with me in terms of the various things and support me on these occasions.
So now that again, just put some perspective, give a perspective to the journey so far in terms of numbers and all that. So can you share with our audience as to what's the number of RHCs that you have, how many hub centers that you've opened, and what kind of initiatives you are planning, so that
Okay.
it can take to the next maybe IQ to Avatar 2 kind of thing.
Yeah.
Assuming this is the Avatar 1.
So, as we said that we started the organization in conceptualized in 2009, formed in 2010, and in the first 2.5 years we have been doing the pilots of around 20 odd pilots. First center we set up in November
And
2012.
just sorry to interrupt you. Was there anyone with you, or you're doing everything by yourself?
Definitely, we there were several other friends and
But
people.
not as a team. I mean,
Yeah, so they
part
have
of this one.
they have been helping me in various ways, definitely. So we started the first RHC in November 2012, only after fine tuning our technology and business model.
Very
So
It took you almost
so
2 years. Right?
yes, it took
Yeah.
us a lot of time to
Right.
really crack to some extent that I think they said what can work.
Right.
And the second was one is in just 1 year back, February 2013,
Okay.
and now we are in early 2014. We are now close to 19 centers.
Very good. And all of them are in West Bengal.
All of them are in West
And
Bengal.
so all this, if I just to go back to connect to what we have discussed earlier in terms of operating model, so all these RSCs are again having their own hubs, right?
Yeah. So right now, what we do is that we have a concept called as a hub clinic,
Okay.
wherein this hub clinic would be able to cater to around say 20 odd clinics around that area.
Okay.
Like these small spokes of the rural health centers, they would be able to provide what we have said is that normal doctor consultation, medicine, and basic
So
tests.
from the hubs, people
If
go
we
on.
have, like, let's say we are also seeing a lot of pain related issues, so we have brought in physiotherapy.
Oh, yes.
So whatever physiotherapy requirement they can be cured at the hub clinic again, which is not very far from these rural health centers. Plus we'll have some few more additional tests which can be done at the hub clinics.
Right.
So this is what, and we are also introducing video conferencing facilities, so I can video conference with my team
Okay.
at the hub clinic. Even my other external members who are in US or Japan, they would be able to directly interact with my field team and gain insights. Where we have brought in something called as CME program, Continued Medical Education for our doctors. So they would be getting trained by various super specialists from all across the globe, and it's a win-win situation, I would say,
Absolutely.
because the doctors in US or UK, they gets to learn the hardcore field experience from these doctors, and our doctors would get to know the best of the technologies which is happening across the globe. So we have been able to create that model.
So now we have discussed one part of your revenue stream, that is your RSCs and the physical part of it. But you also have other one which is WIMS, if I'm right.
Yes.
Which is a technology platform which
Right.
I think you want to sell to nothing to do with iCure, but then to the rest of the people in the world, including Indian hospital. So how does that work, and what does the WMS and WIMS mean?
WIMS actually stands for Wireless Health Incident Monitoring System.
Okay.
So as we said that our software solution has been designed very simple, easy to use and lightweight, that is hosted in the cloud, that works in the very low internet speed, as well as that it works in offline model, meaning that the health workers then they carry the tablet. Like our rural health center, they are at a block level, at a
Okay.
congregation of villages,
Right.
whereas our health workers, they can go to the last mile, even for the patients who cannot come to the clinics also. So they can carry the tablets and they can collect all the data, and then this data can be shared with the doctors. They can go through those details and they can say like nothing to worry, change the drug, change the dosage, or bring the patient to the hospital.
Okay.
So this is how we have been doing, and so WIMS actually helps in two things: on managing the clinics from a from an administrative perspective, like what is our inventory, pharmacy stocks, patient registration, billing, all that.
That is also being
That
used.
is everything. Every module is there. I can get to see the total number of clinics, who are the doctors, and all the things.
Okay.
Plus, on the clinical aspects, we are able to record all the case histories, allergies, details of the patients. Definitely, we are the first, such company which is collecting the data on the rural
At the
areas
ground
at the ground level and in a very organized fashion. And being a business intelligence background and data analysis, I know that it would be of immense value to various research organizations and various programs
Very good.
in the future.
Now, I won't say last, but then in terms of taking forward, what is your vision for next 20 years for two things? One is Indian healthcare and iCure, the role of iCure in the Indian healthcare.
Yeah, so the role of iCure in Indian healthcare is, as you have seen, is that we definitely believe that we are open-ended platform wherein we believe that the problem which we are addressing, definitely iCure is a very small entity to deal with such a huge problem. We are open to new innovations, new technologies, new biomedical equipments that can easily plug into our systems and serve the cause. Definitely iCure would be able to solve few number of problems, and like we are talking with several large organizations who are coming with fantastic modules and various point of care devices, so they can be easily fitted, that can serve the community.
Right.
So that is our aim, that going forward any diseases, they should be able to be detected at a very early stage, so that we don't get to see patients dying because of ignorance or because of any other reasons. Definitely. And going forward, definitely we would want to become a very good research organization that is able to work on the affordable healthcare space and serve the community, not only in India but also across the globe.
I think what role do you think WIMS will play a bigger role in that whole vision?
Definitely WIMS, as we say, that it's a constant monitoring evaluation, and we are fine-tuning the modules. Like we are working with Equine, which is an association of community ophthalmologists in India. They have 390 ophthalmologists all across the globe. So they are using our solution to go to the last mile to collect various eye-related diseases. Like there has been cases wherein patients, they suffer from matured cataract, and from matured cataract there is no going back. The patient leads to blindness. So we are able to treat these cases at an early stage. We got the governor felicitation last year.
Very good.
And also we are doing a pilot with AIMS, All India Institute of Medical Science, New Delhi, for the eye care related diseases. So definitely WIMS, we are also in talks with a couple of countries in Africa. We were part of the African Summit last month. So there has been a tremendous scope for us, and we would be able to provide solutions right from teleradiology also, wherein we would be able to transmit various radiology informations from the last mile, because as you know there is an acute shortage of radiologists all across the globe. So the people from the last mile, if they are able to get these radiology tests done, they would be able to be treated by the radiologist going forward. So these are the various things which we
Thank you so much, and we wish you and your great team I think wonderful times ahead, And I think most importantly, I think you should be a game changer for changing the Indian healthcare industry. Thank you so much.
Thanks, my pleasure.
Thank you so much.